was interesting. I was talking to some people who have connections with Russia in terms of family and friends and this sort of stuff. And they're trying to support them with their money, and they've had to come up with very creative ways to do that because nobody will let them send money to those accounts in Russia. How to get around that? Well, Russia is leading the charge here by doing cryptocurrency.
BRICS. I always love it when you have BRICS on your laptop.
So for those who don't know who the BRICS are, it started up with 5 nations: Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa got together and started doing deals together. And it was a bit of a wake-up call when the Russian-Ukraine war was happening, and sanctions were put against Russia, and we're basically going, you can't send rubles across the banking sector and do cross-border payments with it over what they call the banking system called the SWIFT system. So when you get enough nations doing that, it was interesting the move that Putin did. And I've said it before in previous shows, I'll say it again. To stabilize the ruble, he matched it, gold-backed it, back onto the gold standard, so that 5,000 rubles was 1 ounce of gold. What's interesting of that is the price of gold has gone through the roof, and he's not been the first nation to do that. They've also been joined by Zimbabwe, the currency onto a gold-backed standard. And there is a bit of a combination of other precious metals and other foreign currencies as well. So they're a little bit different in Zimbabwe. But this, of course, has pushed prices of gold up. And we've got an interesting one where Russia is now looking to accept cryptocurrencies to settle cross-border trade transactions and not the US dollar. Well, the obvious thing about that is it can't receive the US dollar. So it's got to get move money back and forth. It was interesting. I was talking to some people who have connections with Russia in terms of family and friends and this sort of stuff. And they're trying to support them with their money, and they've had to come up with very creative ways to do that because nobody will let them send money to those accounts in Russia. How to get around that? Well, Russia is leading the charge here by doing cryptocurrency. The Bank of Russia announced earlier this month that it will push cryptocurrency payments with other countries for trade settlements. Now, this is really fascinating because, one, you're looking at the US dollar being weakened by that and the trust in that. Two, you've got many nations now joining BRICS, not just these 5 nations, but others wanting to join them, and they're wanting to set up their own bank. So it's obvious that they're probably going to be pushing for this kind of technology moving forward. 3, there are some certain problems with cryptocurrency that are being resolved and solved. It takes time to get all the paperwork in place. With the amount of compliance you can imagine, if banks start going, we'll allow cryptocurrency to be used, there's a lot of compliance they've got to fit under in that. The issues, 2 problems that have been traditional with cryptocurrency is, of course, the volatility of cryptocurrency. So you can imagine if you're trying to transmit $20 billion worth of payment for some good that another country has delivered in your country, or even smaller than that, let's just call it, 5 billion. And then, a cryptocurrency has a drawdown of 20% while you're about to do that. That causes huge problems in terms of agreeing on the price that you're actually transacting at. So that's been a big issue that they've got to overcome, and also liquidity as well, because liquidity leads to that volatility. The less liquidity there is in the market, the more you're going to get those huge price drops and rises, which leads to that. So there are some solutions that I've been researching that are emerging on the blockchain for that. But it's fascinating that Russia, out of necessity, is leading the charge down that path.
I think Ethereum is going to take a massive boost in this one, but I think it's going to happen. It's actually going to have a stabilizing effect, because if Russia as a whole starts trading on Ethereum, I'm just going to pull this one out of the air because that's the one where it started. Wouldn't that increase more liquidity? Because if they're starting to pay in Ethereum,
well, Ethereum. Okay, first of all, the burn factor on Ethereum is high. It costs a lot to actually, what do they call it, steam or something like that. Whatever. I'm not a nerd in that area, but what I'm saying in short is Ethereum the solution here? Is Russia like Ethereum? I don't know. I don't know that that's actually a solution that would resolve that. You've got to look at, as I said, liquidity. Now, liquidity is often based by supply and demand. Okay, Now you've got a coin like Bitcoin where there's only a limited supply, that they're not producing more Bitcoins. A lot of them have been lost in crypto wallet codes that people don't remember anymore.
Guilty.
Hard drives have been thrown out. So that's an issue in terms of those computers. But so you've got that. So you've got to look at a coin that can maintain that liquidity. Now this is why, from an investment point of view, people who got in early on Bitcoin have done so well, because the supply has been limited. People have seen the idea, it's caught on, it's got gained mainstream acceptance now. You've got the ETF, the SEC approved, with BlackRock producing that. So big money's poured into it. It's boosted the price. And of course, we're coming off the crypto halving that just happened the other day. So you've got those kind of things playing into all of this. When it comes to international stuff, though, it's a bigger game. And I think the game, I don't know that it will change. The crypto market has a solution for it.
Yeah.
It's going to be interesting how they get all the compliance organized for that and the acceptance and adoption of that.
I wonder, because at the moment you could argue that Bitcoin, Ethereum, all of them, even the Dogecoin, which is a bit of a joke coin, there's nothing to really back it up. It's just the faith in what the coin actually is and the limitation of what they are.
It's a meme coin, yeah.
Yeah. So I wonder if let's say Russia turns around, will create an international acceptable cryptocurrency, which is backed, farmland, gold, precious commodities, things like that, as a way to counter it, to stabilize the fluctuation in the values.
I think there is already a coin out there that does that, and they've been pushing for that. They have been, as I said, going through a lot of the paperwork on that adoption. And they've also had legal challenges that they've had to pass. And that is, it's interesting because they've won their legal challenges, right? Which kind of says that we accept and endorse what you're doing. So, I don't think anybody could create a cryptocurrency. So it's basically the acceptance of it in terms of, hey, this is something that is solving real world issues, as opposed to just being a meme coin.
I'm guessing that Gil's got a few. I'm looking at some of these comments here from Gil. I'm guessing he's got a bit of a crypto stash going on. Personally, I see Ethereum and Bitcoins, because as much as I love cash and as much as I hope it sticks around, I just can't see there being enough of a pushback from the general everyday people to stop the centralized digital currency. So I see crypto, Bitcoin, Ethereum, Dogecoin, all those sort of coins as the new digital cash. Because yes, some of them can be traced, but there's a lot that can't be traced. And I think people have to start understanding that this is a paradigm shift. Everything is going to digital, so you need to find the digital equivalent of what the cash is going to be. What
I can envision, this is what I probably see rolling out, is that the governments, the banks then decide which crypto they're going to go with.
Yep.
Which saves them billions of dollars in terms of administration fees. Okay, because everything on the blockchain can be easily administered as opposed to how it is now.
Yep.
Then they'll probably go to the point where, let us be the custodians, and they'll basically have their own wallets, which are authorized by government to be the custodian of other people's money. I think that's
where I get concerned.
Yeah.
So having those, you're being in control of your own wallet, I think that is where people need to start understanding how the crypto and how to stay anonymous online. I think that's where people need to go.
Well, there's centralized and there's decentralized, okay? And you can still have your own crypto wallet, even if you're using what we call a centralized exchange. When you go decentralized, that's when the regulatory, especially the ATO, start asking a lot of questions because they can't control it.
Yep.
And it's because it's programmed that way. And so those are the challenges ahead. That are there for that space. It's exciting. I also think that there is a solution from my research, that there's a crypto coin that if a government wants to issue a CBDC, they can. If they don't, they want to have it in some other fiat currency or some other cryptocurrency, whatever fiat or whatever currency people want to use, there's also a solution for that as well. So let's say that, I wanted to pay you and I had to pay you in Australian dollars and you wanted to receive it in US dollars, there would be a solution for that.
So just looking at the Gil again, I think he's a massive crypto fan. If you got paid in crypto, I don't need a bank. And what's this newest one in? let's make this big so I can actually read it. The ATO are out of control, and when I start my dictatorship, they'll be the second up against the wall.
It's interesting that those comments being made because there's a lot of ill feeling against the IRS at the moment in the United States, and you can understand why when the current so-called Biden administration was arming them with handguns, a lot of the IRS agents. You've also had other independent journalists go undercover and speak to people who work for the IRS and hear what the practice is within their ranks.
Oh, it's shocking.
In terms of intimidating people and just picking on people at will.
So I've just gone and typed the IRS into the chat, and you can. I'm going to put this up so everyone else can see. Come here, come here, come here. There it is. You do know what the IRS stands for, right?
General Revenue.
It's their money. It's like justice. It's just us. No one else is allowed to have it. It's just us.
So I think there is some interesting stuff going in that space. Americans are looking at the legalities of the IRS and questioning it, whether it's a body that is there. And you've had that circulating for a while. Wasn't
America created because of a tax problem?
Yeah.
So this is one thing I love about America.
The Boston Tea Party was
they've got absolutely no problems going, right, the government are wankers, you're effed, let's go to war. Yeah. So I hate to say it, I think it's, as much as people love Trump and all that sort of stuff, I don't think one man can actually save you. I think it's actually time for a revolution.
Well, I think there is a revolution going on, and we're certainly in an information war that's been going on, and I don't think a lot of people have realised that to get the truth out versus censorship. I know you guys are all over that. We've also got to look at the whole thing in terms of how much in history taxation has been reasons to go to war, not just with the American Revolution, but the whole fact that Jesus Christ was born in Bethlehem was a taxation issue. The Romans were imposing usury on them, and they wanted to do also a census at the same time. So tax has a huge play on history.
So just so I'm clear, Jesus was a tax deduction.
No, Jesus was born in Bethlehem because the Roman Empire insisted that we go back to their hometowns. It impacted where Christ was actually born.
Wow.
So this is the power of taxation, guys.
Okay, hang on.
And historically, that's significant because what do we have? We have BC, before Christ.
Yeah.
In terms of our linear time.
One moment. Josh,
AD.
I have to say, welcome to the stream. Long time no chat. Josh is a long time listener. You'll just have to listen to the replay at the start of it. There was a bit of news for you as well at the start, so I'll let you go watch that one later. Again, for the people listening online, you can go to YouTube, just put in Edge Radio Australia, and click on the live tab. All our live videos are all in there. You can go to our Facebook page, which is Edge Radio Australia, all one word on Facebook, or if you're watching it there now. And I'm pretty sure it also gets put in to Twitch, which is through my channel, and Instagram. I think Facebook automatically puts it onto Instagram as well. So anyway, sorry, some selfless, self-promotion. So yes, so I cannot believe that Bethlehem. So was it Mary or Joseph that was born?
I think it was Joseph, but yeah, it would have gone
with the father. Okay, so I that's hilarious. Sorry, I think that's. I'm just drinking coffee here.
Yeah, taxation we see it in history play out so many times. So you think taxation's boring, but it's actually people have gone to war and shed blood over taxation.
It is boring, but it's one of those things. I always say it frustrates me when people don't pay attention to politics, because your tax rate, what couch you sit on in the studios, what car you drive, where you go to school, what your kids do, absolutely everything in your life is all determined by the politicians.
How much the cost of fuel is to put it in your tank.
And what car you're allowed to buy, because if they turn around and go, right, everyone's going to have an electric vehicle, you're screwed, because there won't be any petrol cars out there. So
I don't think it's going to go there, because I don't think it economically will cost the nation too much to do that.
So, but if they decide it, we have to do it.
Well, America's having that problem now, Travis, and look at the problems it's getting it into. Right?
I was just going to pipe in from the cheap seats.
It's like the voiceover.
From the brother of the director of Ghost. No, look, where I'm going to go on this is look at the Labor Party are doing right now, this push towards electric vehicles, and then actually taxing the most popular vehicles on Australian roads, the utes, right? Now, utes are popular in this country, dual cab utes, because people want to actually be able to...
Picking on my Hilux.
Yeah, you want a tax deduction, right, for your family car, right, when you're using it for work and play. You also want to have it for work and for play, and just shows how the working man's party, and I say that with inverted commas on radio, is that the working man's party, the working person's party, that's all about the worker, is actually having a go and taking away the rights of the everyday worker to put them in
To
an
actually
electric
earn
car.
money.
Yeah, to stop them from earning money, to put them in a car that will not do the job for them. To me, it just shows how out of touch and ridiculous Canberra
Well,
is.
I think Labor's doing everything at the moment on how not to win the next election.
Oh, they're just
That's
very good at it.
That's one issue. They've also did the Voice. They
Yeah.
also did the whole, state level, the Cultural Heritage Act,
Oh,
and got so many people offside on this. It's like how not to win the next election.
Like, I thought Kevin Rudd did a bad job of it, but like this, Albert
But-
is taking
but
to the
what-
next level.
But what I love is this is waking people up because how many Aussies love the utes?
every Aussie loves his youth.
Exactly. So
I'm
this
one
is
of
a
those
big
Aussies.
wake up call and go,
Mine's
well,
not
why
a
are they
ute,
trying to
it's a slow lux.
tax a ute? Right?
Well, because they
wake
just
up.
because they are exactly that. Wake up, because the reality is they are so asleep to the needs and the desires and the lifestyles of the people that they are paid to represent. And this is the thing they keep forgetting: you are public servants. You are there to serve us. We are not there to serve you. And that we fundamentally need to wake our politicians up. And we can, of course, do that next year's election, whether it be West Australian election. Believe me, we'll be waking some people up at that
Oh,
election.
that's gonna be fun.
It's going to be a lot of fun, and of course, at a federal level. And I'm
Whenever it gets called, we don't know that
yes,
one.
and I'm
So-
going to disappear
so-
out
so-
of the shot again.
The
country.
American system is really interesting because the states are so strong in the United States, and there's different state tax laws versus federal tax, and you might wonder the dynamic is so different because think about that. It is the United States of America. This is why in some states you'll have the death penalty versus you won't have the death penalty. In certain states, the United States, so be careful what you do. Right?
Yeah.
You have different legislation in terms of firearms, kind of like Australia. They've got different from state to state, different firearm laws. You've got different taxations in terms of property tax. State tax is a very big consideration in terms of property investing in the United States, as opposed to Australia. It's more consideration across the board on a federal level. So those variants make it quite a different dynamic.